talk to us about, I mean, you can pick anything, big or small. Tell us a story about a failure that you've had based on something that you've really felt like you gleaned a lot of wisdom off of that particular failure.
Yeah. Probably the one that hurt the most. And it did hurt financially because I don't take big financial risks.
Okay.
But it hurt emotionally a lot. And I probably learned the most from it. It was a startup that I worked on for almost a year back in, I think, 2006 or 2007 called Swapski. Swapski was going to be a business-to-business service bartering web application, web service, right, which would allow small businesses to barter with one another on services. Right? And so essentially what it was is like, so a law firm could trade with a graphic designer and they would swap services and everybody gets up, you know, all this, right? I had this great idea and I was like, this is going to be great, right? So I set out just blazing ahead. I start building this app, and I'm working with people, and I'm consulting with people, and have like a little team around me to sort of help me out at various stages of it, building this thing up. And I spent almost a year on it, building the application, building it up. And long story short, I launched the app, and it fell flat on its face. And what was interesting is that it wasn't like I didn't know that it was going to fail, right? Because I actually kind of knew that going along. It never had a revenue model. I didn't know how I was going to make money on it. But, you know, in true web fashion, it's like, oh, I'll get scale and I'll figure that out later, right? And I had other different little infrastructure issues that I, frankly, ignored. I knew they were issues. And yet, what I did is I just said, well, yeah, I know it's an issue, but my strength isn't in solving that problem. So I'm just going to stick to what I know, and I'm going to build it anyway, regardless of that. The thing about it is, it launched, and it absolutely failed. People didn't get it, it didn't work, it didn't make any money, and all this. I learned a few lessons. One, you will see warning signs. You will see things along the way that you go, something is out of place. And we like to ignore it. We like to go, well, yeah, but, you know, that's probably temporary. You know, that'll solve itself in 6 months. No big deal. Don't. Stop and say, what is it? Isolate it. If you have to go find another team member, you have to go find counsel, if you go do something, that's fine. Go do it. Address it when you first see it. Because if you let it sit there, it's like an open sore. It will sit and fester, and it will explode all over you when you launch. It's just what's going to happen.
Case in point this weekend.
Case in point this weekend.
Even to the extreme of ditching the idea. I mean, how painful it is to say that.
Yep.
And we even had probably an hour and a half of downtime, which is a significant amount of time considering the span of an hour is valuable this weekend. So to waste an hour and a half of downtime really just trying to move on. It just everybody be like, okay, we're going to give up all this work that we just put in because it's not going to work. Because I mean, and then you're just going to, you want to. It's like I mean, it's like playing poker, and you're bluffing.
And you know you're not going to win, and yet you still do it.
You keep bluffing. You know you're not going to win. You just need to pull out.
But the thing is, you're playing poker against yourself, and you think you can out-bluff yourself, and that's retarded. You cannot out-bluff yourself, you know? And so what'll happen is you'll end up just crashing, and that's what I did. I mean, in spectacular fashion. Wasted a year of work, tons of hours put into the project, and totally flushed it all down the drain. Learn that you have to have a revenue model baked into a startup idea from day one. It is not going to come later. You have to. That is the first question. How are you going to make money? Then build a startup around it. That's how you got to do it, right? The other thing that I learned about that was, frankly, and this is like this weekend, you got to know when to say when, right? There's going to come a point in a startup life where you go, maybe this isn't going to work. And it may be in an entire business, it may be a marketing campaign, it may be a website, it may be a little project inside of your company. There's a point where you're going to say, we've exhausted our options, we're looking at this, and we can't figure out how to make this work. And you got to cut your losses. The tendency is to say, well, let's just keep going because we've invested so much time. It's a bad decision because it's going to fail anyway. So cut it off, move on. And it'll free up your mind, it'll free up everything else, right? But we hang on. So learned a lot from that one. Learned a lot.
Tough one.